Welcome to Mentor Conversations at SCORE Houston, where we bring you insights and stories from our mentors. You'll hear from senior executives, entrepreneurs, and professionals who volunteer their time to guide small businesses. SCORE is America's largest network of volunteer business mentors and is supported by the U.S. Small Business Administration. In Houston, we provide free, confidential mentoring and education to help entrepreneurs start, grow, and succeed. Now, let's dive into today's mentor conversation.
Welcome to SCORE Houston podcast. I'm your host and SCORE mentor PV Bala. Our guest today is Jerry Hoffman, a senior SCORE Houston mentor with a rich background in sales, marketing, and the fashion industry. Jerry spent his career designing and manufacturing clothing, from women's leather jackets and sportswear to men's sweaters and knit shirts. Beyond design, he led product development and marketing campaigns, all while managing nationwide sales team. His background gives him a deep understanding of what it takes to move a product from concept to customer. But his expertise goes well beyond fashion. He has helped entrepreneurs launch restaurants, coffee shops, bakeries, skincare lines, med spas, and wellness businesses. His specialty is showing small business owners how to market their products, build strong brands, and connect with customers. We are excited to have him with us today to share his insights on turning ideas into successful ventures. Welcome, Jerry, to Score Houston podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You have had a long corporate career at leadership levels and you're well experienced in sales and marketing. That means wide interaction with customers and colleagues. What are the learnings from your career?
My experience with the
Corporate
last
career.
12 years with clients that we've had has been both good and bad because some people come unprepared, and so we have to teach them as mentors to guide them and be patient with them and be good listeners. Some of the things I've learned. We, meaning Raj and I co-mentor with Raj Majarala. And one of the reasons for our success, I think, has been that we're good listeners. We give homework. We make sure that we see them monthly, every 4 weeks, unless they need service.
I also wanted to have an understanding, Jerry, on your long corporate career, corporate experience in sales and marketing. What are the insights that you learned or gained from that experience also, if you like to highlight?
Short answer is that you need to explain, the client needs to explain to their client that they're trying to sell what benefits that client gets. If you can't explain that, and particularly in bullet form, bullet points itself, you need to convince them why they should use your services. There are other people that are competitors with you. Why should they use your service? Is the biggest thing you can tell when you're trying to sell somebody and trying to market your product. That's the biggest thing that you can do, is to tell your client why they should use your services or somebody else's. And it can't be just 1 point or 2 points. It's got to be 3 or 4 reasons why they should.
I think in your kind of industry, there is a lot of perception, the brand, the concept that the client has to accept also for buying a product, isn't it? Beyond just a product as a commodity. It's a fashion business.
Well, in the clothing business, yes, it's a fashion business, and you need, if you're starting a clothing company, you really, first of all, the number one reason why you want to go to business is because you have a tremendous passion for the business. But in addition to that, you have to have a fashion eye to go into the clothing business. And if ever I could give anybody some advice when it comes to the clothing industry or any new product that you're selling, not a service, but a product that you're selling, the most important thing is not to have too much inventory when you get started. It's real important that you start small and grow from there, and you keep adding to your inventory as you make more sales.
Jerry, what drew you to SCORE after the corporate career? What is the motivation for you to start mentoring?
Well, that's an easy question to answer. Number one, I wanted to give back to the community. Number two, I felt like I would be good at this because I'm a good talker, but I'm also a good listener. And so I do listen to the new clients that we get. And number three, which is the standard answer that even you have, is my wife wanted me out of the house. So those three reasons.
I think that's pretty common, isn't it? To all mentors. Yeah, that's true. But I guess the journey has been good for you. And in your long years with SCORE, you and Raj have earned the reputation of being some of the best mentors. So I was wondering, what is it in mentoring that makes you and Raj, of course, so successful?
I usually answer that question. Make sure you co-mentor with Raj, who's brilliant. In addition, I contribute a little bit. We're really good listeners and we get involved with the client and what they're doing. And if there's one thing I do always, almost 90% of the time, both of us do, is that when you're going in, it doesn't matter what, have a brand new cookie that's the greatest chocolate chip cookie, or you're a med spa, or whatever you are, we make clients make 20 phone calls. I want everybody to listen here. This is one of the most important things that we have been successful with.
Yeah.
We make people make 20 phone calls to businesses that are outside of Houston, not competitors. And so a med spa calls 20 med spas in North Carolina, South Carolina, the Dakotas, California, doesn't matter where, and see if they can get lucky enough to get two people to answer them and get the feedback on how they started their business, how they were successful. And those people know more about the med spa than I know about it. So they will get more information. So we strongly urge people to do that.
That's a good point, yeah, Jerry. How critical, Jerry, is sales and marketing for an entrepreneur? He comes out with a product idea. He's gets going on that and the funding and whatnot. He gets occupied. But how can a startup be good at the sales and marketing?
Yeah, that's a terrific question. The answer, of course, is that you need to know your product. And I'm repeating myself here. You need to convince people what value propositions, I use the plural propositions, that gives a customer a reason to buy your service or your product. And until you can convince that customer, you're not going to get anywhere in sales. And again, you could learn by calling 20 other people how they sold their cookies or their med spa or whatever service that they're selling. People sometimes want to get in a rush to get in a business, and inventory is so important. Make sure you don't overbuy until you prove that you can do it. One other thing in sales that people don't know about, but is very, very successful in our 12 years together, is to put the product in on consignment. If you're selling a very unusual umbrella, let's say, you go to there's over 300,000 gift shops in the United States. So you go to a gift shop in Houston, if you're selling in Houston, and you offer them consignment to sell your unusual umbrella, and you give them 2 months to try to sell their product. And if it sells, you make money and I make money. If it doesn't sell, I'll take it back and I'll try it in another store. So people don't use consignment enough. It's very hard to sell a new product to somebody. So if your product is so good and you're positive it's going to sell, then why not gamble and put in 3 to 6 pieces into a store and see if they can sell it? And once you put it in 10 stores and 4 are selling, and that's a pretty good return, you now know you have a pretty good product. And so you can go to somebody else. Hey, I'm selling ABC and I'm selling DEF. And you can convince them, hey, it's worth trying. And by the way, it doesn't cost you anything, Mr. Retailer, right? It doesn't cost you anything. Putting it in on consignment. I'm willing to take it back.
Yep. Tell me, during your lifetime, you have been leading your sales team. your sales team members, you'll be advising them to go travel, meet customers, convince them, and with all those bullet points and trying to sell. But the modern way of marketing is more of digital marketing. Do you think
Mhm.
that has significantly changed the way or the importance of sales and marketing, the traditional one versus the digital one? Whereas you sit in on your desk and do your website and do some AI tools to promote your product. So what's your view on that?
You're correct. That's one of my weak areas because I grew up, you could see I'm old, grew up selling on loyalty and having a relationship with a client. But you're correct. Everything's digital today, the internet. But what people fail to do is number one, I don't think in the 12 years I've been helping people, I don't think I've seen 3 websites that I've liked. Everybody puts too many words in there. Nobody reads anymore. So websites, number one, should be very clean and to the point. They all should be full of bullet points. They should be full of testimonials, but video testimonials.
Hmm.
Again, the most important thing is please tell the customer what benefits they get by using your product or your service.
Yeah.
That's a tremendous failure. Everybody goes on the website, they just say, hey, we have a really nice product. What good does that mean? What benefits do I get?
Perfect.
I'm screaming at the client right now. Yeah. The reason Roger and I work together is because he's the nice guy and I'm the nasty guy. We make a good team.
But I remember I sought your help for a client who was in the clothing industry, and I was a very interested listener as you were mentoring. So you do a lot more than being nasty.
Thank you. I'd like to add something that you may be going to ask me this question, but I had 2 examples of stores that became successful but were failing at the beginning.
Mhm.
So one of them, Raj and I had a coffee shop. That coffee shop now has grown from 1 to 3 stores and doing over $3 million.
Wow.
But when she started the first 9 months, we had decided she'd got a liquor license and
Oh,
we were going to do coffee in the morning, lunch, sandwiches, and then at night we would sell liquor. Well, total failure on the liquor. Nobody was
yeah.
interested. Nobody came to that area. And so she listened to the customer. You need to listen to your customer. And so the customer kept saying, I wish you had breakfast. And now breakfast is almost equal to lunch. And so she listened to the customer and turned her business around from 9 months to a successful story. The second story I'd like to share with
Yeah.
you was Roger and I had a guy, his partner was a chemist. And so they came up with a product to wash the underside of your car from rust, which is
Oh,
normally in the north and the northeast. So
okay.
they would clean the rust off of the cars because of the snow and everything, the cars would rust.
Yeah.
And he was doing okay, but he was limited, particularly to the north and northeast. And COVID came,
Oh,
and he's a chemist, and so he came up with a product to clean
that's right.
desks and
Yeah.
walls and clean the offices. And of course, all the big companies, they were so overloaded with business that they needed somebody else. And that guy in 6 months did $1 million turning. So he turned his business around by being alert to what was going on, just like the coffee shop was alert to what was going on and listening to the client.
So this the second guy now, what business is in? He's doing the car underside as well as the disinfectant.
Yeah,
Both.
correct. The disinfectant has come down a lot because they go back to their original customer. They couldn't get delivery, so that's why they went to the
Okay.
big boys. So he's lost his business, so he's back to that, but he's expanded to doing boats, cleaning boats with that same rust product.
Yeah.
And then he's also expanded by having people start a business using his product.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very good.
So the lessons here is listen to your customer and what they have to say.
I think you get more opportunities by listening to the customer. and
Yeah.
fine-tuning your product
Yeah.
towards
Yeah,
a
the
successful
customer
journey.
will give you great ideas. In my own clothing business,
Uh-huh.
when I would visit with a customer, they would say, "Boy, I wish I had a unusual boating shirt like you're wearing."
Wow.
And then I would take that idea and I put it in my line. So
Correct.
again, listening to the customer.
Yeah, that's right. Many of our clients want to start a service or marketing consumer products in their brands. Many of these are already competitive. There are many players, but they can still be successful if they target their segment well. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I do. But I encourage people that because there's such competition, unless they have something so unique that it's
Yeah.
exclusive, that they start slow and also work with their friends and family to have them test the product and doing consignment again, because you want to get your product exposed. And so when people try it, you see whether it's capable of selling. And by limiting the amount of inventory that you put out there, you can test your product and still try. And again, I go back to the same story. If you will call 20 people to find out how they became successful, it will encourage them to go into business, because they now have a way of how was a med spa, when I hardly have any customers, how do I get started?
Yeah. See, there are clients who are not employed. They don't have a job and they don't have a steady income. Yet they approach us for a new business and need funding. So in these cases, what do you advise them?
That's a really good question again, because we do come across that. First thing I say is, if you really want to go in the clothing business or you really want to start a coffee shop, you need to find out yourself how to run a coffee shop or how do you run a clothing business. And so, number one priority, say, is you need to get the job first, learn the business. Then you can go to the bank and say, look, I've worked 3 years or 2 years at so and so. I know this business backwards and forwards. I've saved up this much money. Try to get started that way. But number one emphasis is getting the job. I don't immediately just say, hey, you can't get a loan, being rude to the client. You need to tell the client that it's important that they learn the business. And so they will benefit so much by learning the business by working at a particular store.
Very true. Some advice to clients. There are entrepreneurs coming wanting to start a business, but they don't have some ideas. They don't have any idea, they don't have any products, and they just come to us saying that I want to start a business. They seek your advice on what opportunities exist. I think what we end up doing is encourage them to look what area of business they could possibly succeed based on experience, or they have a customer, or they have a supplier, or they are there is some basis on which to start a business. With no basis, very difficult to move, right?
Yeah, the answer to that is we give them homework, say, explain to us why someone would buy your sportswear line or why they would buy your coffee shop when you know nothing about the coffee shop business. So for homework, I want you to write a 4-page story about why your coffee shop's going to work and tell me how you're going to do it.
True.
There's your business plan, right? You can't start a business unless have a business plan of what you're going to do. So show us that business plan.
Good, Jerry. How was your mentoring experience so far? How it has enriched your own life or professional journey? And what keeps you going year after year?
The perfect question. The answer, of course, is the thrill of putting somebody in business and that they become successful it's like hitting a home run in a baseball game. It's just so heartwarming. I don't know how many people Raj and I put in business, but it's over 65 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lovely. Lovely.
And it's not all of them $1 million.
Yeah.
It's just a sideline business for them, but they make an extra 20, 30, or 40,000 a year. But it's a thrill to help them get started and be successful.
Yeah. Anyway, they are much better off now than what they were when they approached you. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerry, for the time and the conversation. A good piece of advice for our clients. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks. Good person to ask questions. Set it up real good for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Good luck to.
Thanks for listening to Mentor Conversations at SCORE Houston. If you're an entrepreneur or small business owner, we'd love to support your journey. You can reach us at 713-487-6565 or visit us at 8701 South Gessner, Suite 1200, Houston, Texas 77074. Our office is open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., except for federal holidays. Walk-ins are always welcome. To learn more, to request free mentoring, or to register for workshops, visit us online at score.org/Houston. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, at SCORE, we're here to help you thrive.